Good crowd out there today already. People trickling in. It's awesome. Take a look at some of these builds right off the bat. 4 ER small lasers, 2 Ultra AC5s, 2 Ultra AC10s on the one Kodiak, mirrored on the other. Large pulse, 2 large pulse, 2 ER medium lasers, and 4 SRM6 on the Timber. Very interesting choice. But there's the more traditional small pulse SRM6 on the other. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a brawl here. But what I want to see is what those Panthers are bringing. PPC, PPC on both of them. So it's like a brawl team with a annoying PPC Overwatch Panthers. They are not going to be able to hold up in a fight against those two Jenner 2Cs. It's going to be a really tall order because that allows those Jenner 2Cs to essentially unopposed stand there and just start backcoring your mechs. If you can't flush them out with lights of your own, you've put your big boys at a disadvantage. And I think because of that, the larger mechs for INEX need to focus on making sure those Jenner 2Cs do not have free reign on them. You know, sometimes you can kind of ignore the fact that there's light mechs in the brawl, as long as your lights can handle them, or if you have streaks that can handle them. But if you don't have support of your own lights, you're really going to have to not ignore those Jenner 2Cs at all. So INEX moving their big guys. Actually, this is the mediums and the heavies up to Theta. But where have their Kodiaks gone? The Kodiaks are actually chilling alone near Sigma. Alone. This concerns me. HHOD has swung around Epsilon. They are meandering, kind of moving up. I don't think they have any clue where these guys are. UAV pops up for the Jenner 2C, but it's too far away to see these Kodiaks. This could be a freaking genius maneuver, or potentially the dumbest thing we've ever seen. I guess it remains to be seen. But really, that movement of the mediums and heavies across, this actually is going to get really exciting. Mediums and heavies are charging Brawl Rush across Theta, and the call has been made. Those Kodiak 3s coming around the corner. But it looks like HHOD is kind of moving into him. Okay, one of them is peeking, but this is a little bit of a pincer maneuver. All they have is this Kodiak 3 to shoot at. They have a long way to go to get up to the fight. While this is happening, the mediums and heavies are fighting for their life, but one of them unfortunately falls. They have swung around to finish off the Kodiak 3, and now they are all together. The Kodiak 3 has gone down, so we've traded a Timber for a Kodiak 3. Percentages lower on the INEX side, but now they've gotten their full force here. They need to get these Kodiaks up there and firing, and it's going to be extremely brutal once they bring those UACs to bear. Timber for INEX is going down hard, 23%, and he falls, so they are down a mech, but the Kodiaks have joined the fight, and as predicted, the Jenner 2C coming in for the backcore, but he's actually overheated himself, got away with it, but he continues to harass the backfield of the larger mechs for INEX since they do not have the light support. They are basically free roaming right now. INEX is losing quite a bit of armor. The Kodiak 3 is getting beat on, but they are focusing the other Kodiak on the other side. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, though. What are the Panthers doing while all of this is going down? That's the question of the day. They're in there. They're in the fight. They're brawling with PPCs. That kills me. That kills me. You could have brought Oxides, you could have brought Jenner 2Cs, and I think INEX could have potentially won this. I don't like the Panther pick, and I think that lost them this fight. That maneuver they did was freaking cool. I think it did delay their initial charge. It might have been better just having the Kodiaks there with the rest of them. But the Panthers just not a good choice, in my opinion, for this strategy. Like, you can run the Panthers and do some crazy thing, but if you know your plan is to just take it to them and do some sort of ambush, don't nerf yourself like this. I mean, one of their PPCs is completely useless at this range. If they're going to go in and brawl with him, you got the one ER PPC, then you've just completely gimped yourself compared to the power of these Jenner 2Cs. And I bet you they did some fantastic damage. I saw a lot of overheats that went unpunished. But they were clearly firing the entire time, and I gotta think that if you had a mirrored deck of some sort, had your own Oxides or Jenner 2Cs in the action, or even a frickin' Firestarter A or something that can flush these guys out, but they were able to just kind of meander through the brawl unopposed. They did take some damage towards the end, but let's see what the damage is on those guys. The Panthers, 199 and 42. I think that alone, just soak that in for a little bit. Can you imagine if those guys matched the 414 and the 468 of the Jenner 2Cs for HHOD Team 2? This is a Mech Lab fail right here, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that INEX watches this and understands what I'm trying to say. You had a theory of something, but it clearly did not work. The only thing I can think of is that they were hoping the Panther 10Ks could maybe get HHOD to pay attention to Theta more. Maybe some run-up damage, I'm not sure. But the fact that you had heavies and mediums on Theta did a pretty damn good job. That initial thing was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I don't know if it necessarily hurt them or helped them in any way, shape, or form. That neat little pincer thing. I wanted to see that work. I really wanted to see that work, but that's like 600 damage that you left on the table because you opted to bring Panthers, and those Panthers were the last two mechs alive. And they only pulled, 49 damage. That kills me. And I want to see them do that again. Switch those lights and see if it works for you. Don't scrap the whole strategy. Maybe somebody watched the stream and they're like, whoa, it's INEX. They're going to do that thing again. Okay, maybe let it sit for a week or two and then do it again. But do it again with better mechs. Get some good, solid, brawly lights in there, and I guarantee you this outcome would have been significantly different. I'm going to put a lot of focus on those Panthers because I thought everybody else played pretty well. I thought the heavies and the mediums played pretty well. The Kodiaks got in there and did their job, albeit a little late because of that sneaky strategy, in my opinion, but they got in there. They had the hard push around from Theta. They got that Kodiak down. I thought they did a pretty good job, but it was, in my opinion, a 6 versus 8 fight from the beginning. Let's take a quick look at the map. So, Kodiaks chilled like not even there. I want to say they frickin' were all the way back here. They sent their other guys. I want to say that was a full-on to Theta. It might have been through this channel, like C3. It could have been there. I'd have to look back at the replay. Bottom line, they went around the other side and met up at Theta. We had the movement, predictable movement through D4, Epsilon corner, C4, oh my god, response to Theta. Now here's a key thing. That little pincer was awesome, and I liked it. You had the line there, and then you had the charge through here, right? What I don't think they necessarily anticipated was the fact that HHOD Team 2 pushed in on them. So now you've got this battle happening here, and that Kodiak charge happens, and it was timed pretty damn well. I liked that. I almost think you should have had the Kodiaks go early. That's ballsy as hell, but it would have kept them all looking down that channel, and then, bam, here's your heavies and mediums just slamming into them on the side, or it forces them to split their look. That could have been something, or maybe the Kodiaks would have just been straight up killed. Maybe if they were both Spirit Bears, they could have just, arm tanked for a bit and got into the fight. That could have been pretty slick. If you're drawing the fire off like that, that could have worked. So you send them in early, just a little bit early, enough to get their attention, and then bam, mediums and heavies slam in. But bottom line, HHOD pushed up and over into the mediums and heavies. So now the Kodiak kind of came up and traded a little bit right here, and that actually was his downfall. Because I was worried the Kodiaks coming up here would have nothing to shoot at. But they were gifted with the ability to hit that other Kodiak 3. And then you had a hard push around here of the heavies and mediums, and they all came together and killed the Kodiak, like, basically right here. So they got the Kodiak, they lost to Timber for it. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade for a 6 versus 8, especially. But you know, then they, okay, so now they're coming back around here into the fight. Big fight happening down there yet again. Panthers are doing their thing. I'm pretty salty about the Panthers. But they're fighting. It's a brawl. They're fighting there. And there's nothing really I can say that should have been done any differently at that point, except for the fact that they had the Panthers. So, that pretty much, why not? Let's go look at a replay, shall we? Why not? This was a pretty good match to replay, in my opinion. Gotta find the right spots. Maybe I missed something. I'm gonna look for those frickin' Panthers, and I want to see where the hell they were playing. Alright, so let's go back a little bit. So I was looking at this, and I'm like, oh, that's frickin' cool. Okay. So, there they are. Chillaxing here. These guys could have started putting shots on him or something like that. Because these guys then would have been able to get all the way into the fight unopposed. So instead they're charging over. They're not taking too much. Here come the Kodiaks, but they're all slipping away. They're just slipping away. This guy gifted him with something to shoot at, and that's pretty cool of him. Not really, but you know, they even got strikes on the guy. He got some strike damage. That strike might have actually done a little bit of team damage there, potentially, because of the hard push around, but that really hurt those Kodiaks' ability to do much more than just kind of harassing that dude. But then HHOD continued their swing through. So we have a little bit of a NASCAR, and then they come back around. And, yeah, there's the Panther back there just kind of doing his thing. There's the other one over here. 6 versus 8, you know, at this point. 5 versus 7, but, can you tell I'm salty? And then here's the Jenner 2C overheating. Perfect opportunity for this guy to shoot him in the back. If he wasn't in tunnel vision, that could have been an easy one-shot kill into the back of that Jenner 2C. Gotta keep your eyes open. If you were zooming in and you just missed a Jenner shutting down in front of you, maybe you should change your field of view or something. I don't know. Like, that sucks. Missed opportunities for sure right there. You gotta look out for those big mistakes and take advantage of them. But these Jenners just basically cruising around, doing their thing, just completely slaughtering Inex. And for the fact that this match turned out as close as it did, with the Jenner 2Cs able to do what they were able to do, I honestly think Inex was going to win this if they had better lights. I mean, I could just say right there, Inex could have won this, and probably would have won this if they had better lights. I'd put a ton of stock in there. Okay, I'm beating the horse to death. So we're going to drop out of this replay here, and we're actually going to take a look. Alrighty. We are on the HHOD side. 4 AC5 Black Widow. Hunchbacks bringing the large pulse lasers. Large pulse lasers on the other side as well. Other Black Widows, 4 AC5s, Ultra AC10s, Ultra AC10s. So, a lot more DACA, a lot more ballistics. They just need to get those shots on target. They're up against a bunch of large pulse mechs. You know, it's gonna be important that they just manage to land it, you know? They're up against a decent amount of DACA as well, but then, of course, backed up by those large pulses. Map control, map control, map control. Lots of large pulses. So, DACA versus large pulse. Who's going to win? If you can land 4 AC5s and then sneak away, only taking like a half burn a large pulse, I'd say that's a pretty good win. Now, the first thing that they're going to notice is Sword League is not taking Gamma, and they didn't do this before either. They are doing the exact same strat as last time. They're playing a very heavy outside run. That Jenner 2C just got a look, so they are doing exactly what they did before. And then, of course, they curved into Theta. But the big thing is they're going to react to the movement of HHOD. HHOD is, instead of moving to Theta, they're holding their ground on this corner. So there's a good spread of about 3 mechs here. Are they going to be able to handle basically an entire 8 mechs coming in on them? Well, it looks like they are actually pulling out a bit. That worries me a little bit. So there is one Jenner 2C sitting way in the back. It's DeChump, that crazy, crazy Jenner. He's getting a little bit of scratch on him, kind of held at bay, but I'm more worried about the fact that you've got Sword League setting up something big over here, and you've only got 4 guys now to answer this. Every time you peek, if you take more than 1 mech's worth of fire, you're losing your trade, essentially. This really worries me. They're kind of doing like a backwards retreat. Kodiak 3 just fell into the pit. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. So 2 of them now down below. Sword League is just touring around the outside, but they're going to find the best angle possible to essentially poke up, and it's probably going to be this ramp. They're going to poke up, and they're just going to start trading in. One thing that's important to note, the Grasshopper for Sword League has been taking quite a bit of damage from those trades. But now Sword League sees there's guys down in the pit. They're dropping some shots in on the Kodiak, who's essentially not able to return fire. He is getting backed up a little bit by this Hunchback, though. Good strike, as usual, from Sword League, yet again. But that Kodiak 3 has taken so much damage and has not been putting an equal amount out. I hate this positioning for HHOD. It is time to run, get up to the top of the ramp, and prepare to fight, because if Sword League gets even a little bit aggressive, they're going to roll up on you so hard. I do think that the HHOD mechs that are up here are doing a good job at least slowing Sword League down a little bit, but it looks like they are coming in aggressively. Medium laser Wolfhound coming around on the left side, taking away that angle. They might even send that same Hunchback over there, but there's DeChump once again playing his own little poke game with his SRMs. Let's see whether or not they're able to do a little bit better against him. Oh, what a ballsy move by Talk Polite. I would call that a bad trade. Running straight into the Sword League firing line to get 1 SRM volley in and knocked down to 41%. That is not a good trade whatsoever. Yes, you did hit DeChump in the face with that, but that was not a good plan for that Jenner 2C. Don't do that anymore, or you're going to see a dead Jenner on the ground really quick. So, are they rushing? What are you doing? No! Okay, well, the Hunchback just ran in on his own. He's dead. Now the rest of HHOD is charging. That was definitely a miscue. Something bad happened there on that call, but HHOD is charging in, getting aggressive. They did pick up a kill, but they've got problems, and one of those problems is the fact that there's an uncontested Black Knight in the back ranks, backcoring them all out one at a time. HHOD has managed to drop a few mechs, though, and they're actually pulling this back a little bit. There's only 2 mechs remaining for HHOD, but they've got only 4 left on Sword League. We got a 1v1 down here with the Black Widow dropping shots into that Stormcrow, and that is a huge onslaught of ballistics. Stormcrow is getting just pummeled, and he should be going down relatively quickly. One more alpha, I'd say. There he goes. We're down into a 1v2. This was a hell of a lot closer than I thought it would be. A Hunchback 2C and a Wolfhound versus a 4AC5 Black Widow. Problem is he doesn't know where the enemy is, and they're just walking right by him right now. I think he's desperate to get up to a ramp. Tickets are in his favor, but with a light on the field, that's pretty brutal. He can just run and play the cap game now, and it's going to be a miracle, I guess, for the Black Widow to handle this. Let's take a look at the health of these mechs. He's doing really good. The Hunchback is also doing good and able to get a couple more shots in there. I want to watch his health, though. Those arms are meaningless. He's about to get shot in the back by the medium Wolfhound. It's time to fight, buddy. Get those shots in. Land them. You can do this. Good shot into that Hunchback. Opened him up, it looks like. Wolfhound coming in aggressively. The longer that he just runs around and getting picked away by those medium lasers, though, he's just going to lose it that much harder. So turn and fight. 1v1. Get some good shots in on that light, and you can maybe pull it off. This is exciting as hell. Ooh. He's open now, and he's backing up right into the Hunchback, and he gets taken out. That was a very slick maneuver by those 2 remaining Sword League mechs, but that got a lot closer than I thought it should have. Holy cow, I can't believe that HHOD was able to focus fire down that well to even get it to be that close. That was a completely different match than what we saw before. I can only imagine if they were able to maybe get that Black Knight off their back. Not have that Jenner take so much unnecessary damage at the beginning. That initial charge by that Hunchback straight up sucked. I'm going to just be blunt. That sucked. But the Black Widow, Dalen, last one alive, pulling 767 and 3 kills. 607 from the Kodiak. The other Kodiak only 131, and I think he was the one that took so much damage when he was down in that pit. He was one of the Kodiaks that actually fell off, and that killed me. But HHOD was able to get up there. Sword League kind of stalled out a little bit. HHOD made the call, decided to go in, and brought it hard. I can't believe that they were able to do as much as they did, but that was pretty damn impressive. This is one of those things where I think it just got away from HHOD. Like, if they cleaned up some of those other gaffes, it could have been a completely different outcome. That was so damn close. So damn close. Let's take a look at the replay. So I'm getting really worried at this point about, 4 guys against an onslaught of essentially 7, because they got the one guy back there harassing. And so they start backing up, and then, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Well, that Kodiak is now out of any sort of fight if Sword League brought it in. But Sword League played relatively passively. They stayed cagey, stayed tight, and it allowed this guy, and the Black Widow, of course, fell in too. It allowed them to get out, and that is one of the big reasons why I think Sword League could have cleaned this up a lot quicker if they knew that those guys fell in. And they didn't know, really, I don't think, until they started getting up here and looking down at them. And they got a lot of free hits in on the backside of that Kodiak. They got strikes down, really good strikes. Oh, man, look at that strike right across the bow, too. Just the strikes are awesome. But this felt really good for Sword League. But then what happened to this Grasshopper? Why is he at 71%? Why is the Jenner 2C DeChump? Well, he was alone in the back. I guess he was getting picked on. But that Grasshopper took quite a bit. And I don't know really when that happened. He must have made a bad peak at some point. But these guys got pretty hurt backing out, but they got out with their lives, and I think that's impressive. So then I see Sword League coming up, and I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. It's going to get nasty. They got guys down in the pit, unable to back up their team, and then they stopped. And that was confusing again. Sword League has these start stops. It looks like they're going to get super aggressive, and it looks like they're going to take it to them at the perfect opportunity to get this huge advantage, and then they stop, and they allow HHOD to regather themselves and prepare to go in again. And that, oh, here's that bad trade. No. Don't do that. No. But no, I think Sword League could have straight up rolled over them and just cleaned house right there. But they're allowing HHOD to gather themselves, and they're going to, at some point, charge. And now the next thing that kills me, 83% Hunchback here. Why? There's still people in reverse right now. He must have just been like, all right, go now. And then everyone else is like, oh shit, Leroy Jenkins just ran in. Stick to the plan, chums. Stick to the plan. And then they go, and so at this point I'm like, oh well, HHOD is completely messed up right now. They're screwed. But let's see if we can catch where some of this goes down. They're working on that Kodiak there. Kodiak is incredibly hurt. Looks like he's about to go down, and he does. They've got the Stormcrow. I guess that Black Widow just pounding in his Stormcrow. He's down here again. Why do you keep falling off? God. Stay up top. I tell that to my team all the time. Do not drop down unless there's the last mech in the game down there. You can't give up your high ground like that. Obviously, it helped him get the Stormcrow and kept him out of danger, but that he's got to stop falling off. But I'm gonna back this up one more time here. Where the hell do all these mechs die? In fact, let's slow it down a little bit. Let me go 50% speed, see if I can figure it out. So, obviously, the front Kodiak, and who's this coming up behind him? That's the Jenner 2C, and he's facing the Jenner instead of the onslaught of the rest of the mechs coming in. The Black Knight here is backcoring the Black Widow, but takes him a lot more shots than I thought was necessary to get the job done. So, he goes down. Black Widow still getting shot in the back. Looks like the Hunchback 2C is over here pretty fresh. Black Widow does finally get backcored. It looks like somebody's now ping. Oh, bad overheat. There's a bad overheat. But he doesn't get punished for it. Where do you guys die? So the Kodiak is firing at that Stormcrow while he's surrounded by 2 other mechs. And he must literally just look at one, shoot him and kill him, look at the other, shoot him and kill him. That's probably 2 kills by that Kodiak 3, I'd say, in quick succession on the Black Knight and the Hunchback. So there's one, and that is the Kodiak. And he gets killed. And then Dalen kills the Stormcrow. No, because the Hunchback was left alive. Huh. Black Knight, Wolfhound, Hunchback, Stormcrow. Yeah, so the Stormcrow down here and the Black Knight. So, wow. So it went from a 4v2 to a 2v1. Intense. Intense. Alright, well, we've got another match on the docket. Let's go. Great crowd out there as usual. Love to see you guys all out here watching. Okay, taking a look at Team 2. That good old Spirit Bear. There's the 2 large pulse lasers, 4 ER medium lasers for the Executioner. Timberwolf bringing 2 large pulse lasers, 5 ER medium lasers, 2 ER small lasers. Jenner 2C, 2 SRM6s and 4 ER medium lasers. It's a very curious build for that Jenner 2C. The other Jenner 2C bringing 6 small pulse lasers. So, curious Jenner 2C builds. We haven't seen a lot of that today, but we'll see what they can do with it. So, HHOD moving down that Epsilon side. They got that wide swinging Talk Polite over there. Not grabbing Epsilon yet. He's running through it. Now he's basically just gathering information at this point. He's very curious about that Timberwolf over there. I think he's wondering what that Timberwolf is doing. And he's kind of running up on him. Maybe he doesn't know he's there. I don't think he saw that. Now he does. You see him jerk over. Well, there's a Timberwolf there. Surprise. But Talk Polite doing some amazing frontal scouting. Now, while this is occurring, that Jenner 2C is running over for the Gamma Cap. So we're going to have almost a 4 cap now in favor of KCOM. So HHOD Team 2 is going to have to make a decision as to how they're going to attack this. Well, we've seen in the past, though, you know, even a 5 cap isn't going to get you the win if you get rolled up on. So far, no trades going out at all, but that 4 cap is happening, and HHOD Team 2 is going to have to make a decision. They are moving up from Epsilon to Sigma side. A majority of the KCOM mechs are actually over here, and I'm not a huge fan of Sigma for fighting. Oh, I thought those guys were stacked for a second. I'm like, what are they doing? No, they're okay, well, they're waiting for it. This is actually very curious. If HHOD decides to go hard into the Sigma side, I don't know what KCOM is going to be able to do against it. They're getting a little bit of scratch from that ER medium lasers on the Jenner 2C, but they're coming in hard. They don't really know where a majority of KCOM is right now, though, and I think that's probably going to be a little bit of a concern. Let's see if Talk Polite gets that information. He does see that Hunchback 2C down below, and I think they're starting to get a clue. Everybody heading up to the top of the Theta ramp, but only a couple of them looking in the correct direction right now, the Hunchback and the Black Widow. I am really confused as to what KCOM's strategy is here. And they are starting to peek out now, but I don't really like that angle that they're at. And I think that every time they peek, they're going to just kind of get shot in the face. That Executioner down to 92%, took a little bit of hit. We have a little bit of a swing. The Spirit Bear and the Executioner now coming around that left side. Spirit Bear, of course, extremely brawly. And HHOD is going to run straight into it. So we'll see if this Spirit Bear alone is able to do some significant damage. And he's charging right in there. That first Hunchback coming around the corner sees him. But here we go. Here comes the pain. get a lot of that initial dock fire in. Percentages so far in favor of HHOD, but it's going to start swinging the other way as they start getting their shots downfield. The Jenner 2C coming around on the backside, but Talk Polite is there to keep his team safe from those Jenners. That Spirit Bear getting mauled to death by just the onslaught of fire, and HHOD has swung out to the right side. KCOM is moving up into the high ground, though, and they are still attempting to get a little bit of a penetration here. Talk Polite gets legged. That's not good for him. He's trying to get whatever he can out before he ultimately goes down, but that's bad, losing that Jenner 2C to a leg shot. 2 down now for HHOD, and 3 of their mechs incredibly damaged. Not looking too good. They got to start bringing some of this a little bit more in line. 2 of them jumping on that Timberwolf. They need to take him down really quick, and then maybe even get onto the rest of the Timberwolf, the other Timberwolf. The Executioner able to just sit there and essentially trade in, but 2 dead now on both sides. 3 dead. KCOM loses the other Kodiak 3, and that Timberwolf finally goes down, so it's back in favor of HHOD, but they're so hurt, they're going to die to 1 shot every single time. 4 all. Both sides with incredibly hurt mechs. I'd say that 1 Timber in the back here, 83%, just doing everything he can. He's been mostly ignored, and he's starting to land some of these. Kyle Wright in that Hunchback trying to finally challenge him, but the Black Widow is going to be up against 3 mechs here, and that Small Pulse Jenner's on him, and he's not able to contend with it. If he gets a lucky shot on him, though, oh, he goes down. It's all up to that Hunchback. I'm sorry, HHOD. Apparently, I'm bad luck for you guys. But that Timberwolf able to just basically non-stop shoot with Gauss PPC unopposed for the entirety of the match, that's brutal. And that goes in favor of KCOM. Look at how hurt these guys are, though. Let's take a look at some of these paper dolls. Not really open, per se. There's that Jenner 2C is really hurt, but he's still had a little bit of juice left in him. It felt really close, but KCOM just was focusing down really well, landing their shots really well, and HHOD just didn't have an answer for it. And that flanking around their left side hurt, but really that Timberwolf, where's that Timberwolf? 622 damage. Was that even... Yeah, that's the one that's alive. 622 damage. Just left alone the entire match. And then 3 kills, 511 for that Jenner 2CA. Big damage. That was really close, though. I mean, that felt really close. I think HHOD just needed that extra little bit to essentially come away with it. Take a look at the map real quick. KCOM doing apparently their signature on the outside maneuver, and then coming all the way around, and then like going into Sigma, and then kind of doubling back. I mean, that's where they posted up, and then HHOD coming into Theta, and then essentially doubling back and fighting. So KCOM really likes their long distance maneuvers there, but it worked for them. I was really worried about the Sigma thing. I think that if HHOD took it to that Sigma corner and forced KCOM to fight where HHOD wanted them to fight, that could have been a little bit different, because they stagnated a bit, and they allowed KCOM to come out of that bad position and start fighting them on the level of HHOD. And I don't think that that was good for HHOD for that to happen. I think if they just basically plowed into them, or got really, if they're sitting like down here, this is KCOM in blue, if they're sitting like there, whatever, and they got their 1 light mech over here, just frickin' set up. Go sit on this ridge. Go sit on this ridge. Go cross the land bridge. Sit on this ridge, you know. Just start nailing them, you know. But they basically came over here, and then they just kind of waited for KCOM to say, okay, well, I guess we're going to come up and swing around India and fight you, finally, you know. I think they kind of missed an opportunity there. I don't like where KCOM was, and then HHOD kind of allowed KCOM to come out of there. Talk Polite running around, gets legged, that's rough. He could have done a hell of a lot more if he kept his mech alive. although that's kind of a Madden thing. They all could have freaking done more if they kept their mechs alive. But you know, losing that light mech is painful, definitely painful. And I think that he had the opportunity to stay alive a little bit longer, but he got a little bit aggressive up there. He was kind of holding that left flank for his team, and when he went down, that Executioner and the other guys, they all came around with him. And that's when that flank fell, that's where they're getting hit from that Timber, and then the main force, and then you've just got the killing field right in here. And that is all she wrote for HHOD, but still, they got to feel pretty good about how close that was at the very least. Just a couple changes. Pick up on some of those mechs that are in the outskirts. Try and find a solution for them. Like, how great would it have been if Talk Polite kept his mech alive and then went and started backcoring out that Timberwolf instead of being dead on the ground? You know, something like that. And this is obviously hindsight's 2020. And it's tough to sit there and say, okay, well, they should basically not be dead. But you know, there's a lot of opportunities that they missed out on because they got killed, and stop getting killed.